Have you ever wondered why some people seem to age gracefully, while others, without any warning, begin to crumble? The body slows down. The mind begins to forget. Energy becomes a rare guest. And yet, medical tests show nothing alarming. No deadly disease. No clear cause. Just a quiet collapse. What if the real culprit isn't something you can touch, or scan, or medicate? What if it's something deeper? Something that's been hiding inside you for decades. We often associate stress with deadlines, arguments, or financial strain. But there's another kind. A quieter, more dangerous kind. The stress that hides behind smiles. The stress that accumulates in silence. The stress that no one talks about, but everyone over 60 feels. Today, we're not going to talk about disease. We're going to talk about the unseen weight so many carry. The hidden stress that slowly poisons the mind, weakens the body, and shortens the soul's breath. If you're over 60, or know someone who is, what you're about to hear may not just explain the pain. It may finally bring peace to it. You don't see it in the mirror. You don't hear it in conversation. And yet, it lives inside you, quietly, persistently, like a low hum you've tuned out over the years. This isn't the kind of stress that explodes during a traffic jam or a shouting match. No. This is different. This is the kind of stress that sits silently in your chest when the house becomes too quiet, when the phone doesn't ring, when your value feels invisible, when memories become heavier than moments. It's the kind of stress that's built up not over days, but over decades. It's the guilt of things left unsaid, the regret of roads not taken, the sorrow of losing people who once made life feel full. Many call it normal aging. But there is nothing normal about carrying pain so long it starts to feel like part of who you are. It's a weight without shape, a wound without blood. And for millions of people over 60, it's a silent killer hiding behind polite smiles and scripted replies like, "I'm fine. Just a little tired. Nothing's wrong." But something is wrong. And it's time we talk about it. The human body is not built to hold stress forever. Especially not after 60. You see, when we were young, the body could absorb pressure. The heart was strong. The brain was fast. The hormones balanced themselves out like a well-rehearsed orchestra. But as we age, that resilience begins to fade. And the stress that once rolled off your back now seeps into your bones. It's not just in your head. Chronic, hidden stress after 60 affects your entire biology. Cortisol, the stress hormone, starts to overstay its welcome. And when cortisol lingers, it begins to tear things down. Your memory becomes foggy. Not because you're just getting old, but because stress is shrinking the part of your brain responsible for memory, your hippocampus. Your blood pressure creeps up. Your sleep becomes broken. You feel exhausted, even after a full night's rest. The immune system, already weaker with age, becomes further compromised. And that opens the door to inflammation, pain, and illnesses that seem to come from nowhere. Some call it arthritis. Some call it fibromyalgia. Some call it aging. But what if, underneath the labels, there was something deeper? A suppressed grief. A lifetime of tension. A soul that's been whispering, "I haven't felt peace in years." We treat the symptoms. We take pills. We blame the calendar. But very few ever ask, what am I still holding on to that's holding me back from healing? They say loneliness is an emotion. But after 60, it becomes a condition. You could be surrounded by people, family, friends, neighbors, and still feel unseen. Still feel like your presence has become background noise. That, right there, is the most dangerous form of stress. The feeling that you no longer matter. Science is catching up to something many elders already know deep inside. That loneliness can be as deadly as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. It raises blood pressure. It weakens the heart. It increases your risk of dementia and depression. And worst of all, it convinces you that you're the only one feeling this way. But you're not. Millions of people, behind closed doors, are grieving the version of life they thought they'd have. The version where the phone rings more often. Where the house is filled with laughter. Where they are needed, loved, and heard. Instead, silence becomes their roommate. And silence, over time, becomes suffocating. It's not always about being alone. It's about feeling forgotten. And that emotional weight, day after day, becomes a form of chronic stress the body cannot process. It lingers in the stomach. It tightens the chest. It steals your appetite, your motivation, even your will to get out of bed. And yet, most people will still say, "I'm okay." But okay doesn't mean at peace. Okay doesn't mean alive inside. We live in a world obsessed with speed, youth, and progress. In that race forward, something gets left behind. Our elders. Not in a physical sense, but in spirit. Technology moves fast. Culture changes overnight. And suddenly, you wake up one morning and feel like a stranger in your own time. You used to know how things worked. Now everything, from your phone to your bank, speaks a language you no longer understand. And the world doesn't slow down for you. Worse, sometimes your own family doesn't either. They mean well. They're busy. They forget. And in that forgetting, something subtle happens. You start to feel invisible. You stop giving your opinion because no one asks for it. You stop telling your stories because people interrupt. You stop reaching out because it always feels like you're bothering someone. And all of that, every time you silence yourself, adds one more drop of stress to a cup already too full. No one talks about this because no one wants to admit they feel irrelevant. But inside, many elders are carrying a silent heartbreak, the pain of being needed for decades, and then suddenly, no longer needed at all. That is the kind of stress no doctor tests for, the kind no medicine treats, and the kind that quietly chips away at the will to live. There's a strange thing about hidden stress. You rarely notice it until it breaks you. Why? Because you've spent a lifetime learning how to hide it. You were told to be strong, to carry your pain quietly, to put others first, to swallow the lump in your throat and keep going. You became so good at pushing down your feelings that now, when they try to come up, you don't recognize them anymore. Sadness looks like back pain. Fear sounds like a racing heart. Loneliness feels like fatigue. And regret? It comes out as irritation or silence. Many people over 60 don't even use the word stress. They say things like, "I just don't sleep well anymore. My energy is gone. I'm not myself lately." But they rarely ask. Why? Because somewhere along the line, asking became uncomfortable. Vulnerability felt dangerous. And silence felt safer. You learned how to survive. But survival isn't the same as peace. And so, day after day, year after year, you carried more than your body was ever meant to hold. Emotions left unresolved, losses unspoken. A lifetime of should-haves and what-ifs that no one ever helped you unpack. Until now, it's no longer just emotional. It's physical. It's real. And it's affecting your health in ways you never imagined. Even when the mind forgets, the body remembers. It remembers every night you cried quietly, every smile you faked, every heavy moment you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't. The truth is, your nervous system never forgot. And now it's speaking to you, loud and clear. It speaks through your skin, sudden rashes, itching, discomfort. It speaks through your gut, indigestion, bloating, nausea. It speaks through your sleep, restless nights, disturbing dreams, 3 a.m. awakenings that feel like panic. It even speaks through your heartbeat. Not in words, but in rhythms that say, asterisk, something isn't right. Asterisk. Doctors call it psychosomatic, but it's more than just in your head. It's your life story, written in your body. You see, when stress becomes chronic, especially the kind you don't talk about, your nervous system stays in a state of high alert. It's like a fire alarm that never stops ringing. Even when there's no smoke, even when the danger has passed, you startle easily. You feel drained after simple conversations. You struggle to enjoy things you once loved. And slowly, you begin to feel like you're fading. Not because you're old, but because your system is overloaded with unresolved emotions. And the scariest part? Most people accept this as just how it is. They stop fighting for joy. They stop asking for connection. They stop hoping that things can change. But what if they can? Healing doesn't begin in hospitals. It begins in honesty. And for many people over 60, the first step toward peace isn't a pill or a new routine. It's permission. Permission to feel what you've buried. Permission to grieve what you've lost. Permission to stop pretending. You don't need to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. You just need a moment of truth with yourself. Maybe it's when you finally admit, "I'm tired of carrying this alone." Or when you sit in silence and let the tears fall. Not because you're weak, but because you're finally done pretending to be strong all the time. Sometimes, healing is as simple as telling your story. Not to get advice. Not to be fixed. Just to be heard. And if you've spent your life being the listener, the caretaker, the rock for everyone else, maybe now is the time to let someone be that for you. Whether it's a friend, a therapist, a support group, or even a journal, your story deserves space. Your pain deserves language. Your healing deserves voice. Because when you begin to name the things that have haunted you, they start to lose their power. You remember that you are not your trauma. You are not your regrets. You are not your past. You are someone who has survived all of it, and still has time to turn that survival into serenity. You don't need to climb mountains to heal. You just need to move with intention. Sometimes, it's the smallest rituals that create the biggest shifts. A morning walk in the sun, not to burn calories, but to breathe with the earth. Writing a few honest lines in a notebook, not for poetry, but for relief. Watering your plants slowly, while thinking of each leaf as a version of yourself that's learning to thrive again. Lighting a candle at dusk, not for religion, but for reflection. Speaking one truth a day out loud, even if it's just, "I feel lonely today." These aren't cures. They are reconnections. They pull you back into your own body, your own breath, your own life. Because when you're over 60, the world may not ask you to rush anymore. But your soul still asks you to wake up. To be present. To be gentle. To be alive, even in the quiet. Some days, healing will feel like progress. Other days, it may feel like nothing at all. But every time you choose presence over pressure, stillness over stress, forgiveness over frustration, you teach your nervous system something radical. That it is safe to rest. That it is safe to release. That it is safe to begin again. Asterisk asterisk. Imagine a life where each breath is not a burden, but a gentle reminder of a resilience that has only grown stronger with time. In the quiet moments before dawn, when the world is still holding its breath, you discover that peace is not found in grand gestures or monumental achievements. It's found in the subtle art of simply being. For many over 60, the journey to reclaiming peace is about acknowledging that the invisible scars from a lifetime of hidden stress do not define us. They are not our identity. They are memories we have carried, lessons we've learned, and experiences that have forged the unique tapestry of our lives. As you sit quietly, perhaps on a worn wooden bench in your favorite park or by the window watching the first light dance across familiar streets, allow yourself to simply feel. Feel the gentle caress of a breeze on your skin and the soft murmur of distant birds welcoming a new day. In that sacred silence, you begin to understand that true healing starts when you accept every part of your story. The laughter, the sorrow, the moments when you felt invisible, and then with tender courage, choose to move forward. Every wrinkle, every line, is a chapter written in the language of survival. And within these chapters, a deeper wisdom emerges, one that speaks of forgiveness, acceptance, and the quiet power of vulnerability. You no longer need to hide behind forced smiles or hushed voices. Instead, you start to see yourself for who you truly are, a resilient soul capable of transforming pain into purpose, loneliness into introspection, and stress into a wellspring of inner strength. Every time you honor your feelings, you reaffirm that life, even in its quieter moments, is a gift deserving of love and care. You learn that it's never too late to rejoin the dance of existence, to find joy in small rituals, and to reclaim the narrative of your life with gentle, yet profound determination. As this journey draws to a close, I invite you to sit with this final thought. What if the key to a life of renewed energy and calm lies not in escaping stress but in embracing it, acknowledging every shadow in the light of your lived experience? Have you ever paused to wonder if the whispers of your past are subtly guiding you towards a new chapter of healing? Could it be that the unresolved grief, the unseen tensions, and the burdens you have silently carried are simply signposts pointing you to a deeper part of yourself? Take a moment now, pause, reflect, and consider. What if today is the day you begin to listen more closely to your own heart? A day when you allow your long-forgotten feelings to surface, not with despair, but with the promise of understanding and growth? Allow this gentle invitation to resonate with you. Seek the moments of stillness amid the chaos of everyday life. Listen to the soft voice inside that knows you better than any diagnosis or statistic ever could. And remember that healing is a journey that unfolds one quiet step at a time. In reaching out for help, in sharing your story, and in engaging in the rituals that soothe your soul, you take back power, transforming hidden stress into an unlikely source of strength. Not through grand acts, but through the simple beauty of living honestly, fully, and compassionately with every breath you take. Now, as you bring this reflection to a close, ask yourself, isn't it time to let go of what no longer serves you? To free the spirit that has been confined by years of silent suffering? To step into the light of each new day with a peaceful heart, knowing that every moment is an opportunity to begin again? Thank you for joining in this exploration, a journey that is as much about healing as it is about rediscovering the courage to live a life filled with love, authenticity, and gentle renewal.